My name is Sarkadis Zegaye. I am an assistant professor in the Ethiopian Civil Service University and Institute of Leadership and Good Governance, ILG, and I am going to give you a short introduction to the module Ethiopian Public Administration and Governance. This is a common module for all master's programs across the board in the Ethiopian Civil Service, and it is going to have a content which is an aggregate of or collection of selected various disciplines which are related to law, public administration and governance. This module is very significant to all master's programs, and therefore it is designed in such a way that it can be offered for all master's program in the Ethiopian Civil Service College. It consists basic knowledge of law in general, constitution and Ethiopian constitution in particular, human rights, administrative law, governance in general and of Ethiopia in particular. It is very important to all master's program students that it, as has been already indicated, includes very basic knowledge, very important fundamental knowledge that has to be understood and practiced by every student as well as by every citizen as a citizen of Ethiopia. So this portion is fundamentally important as a general knowledge for every person and for master's program students in particular. Every student is expected to have a knowledge, a general knowledge of the basic laws of Ethiopia, and in order to be able to understand what the basic laws are, then it is provided in the module what basic principles of law, what basic knowledge of law that will allow students to understand what the other parts, which include constitution in general and Ethiopian constitution, human rights and other things, to be understood very well. The same is with governance in Ethiopia, the structure of governance in Ethiopia, the structure of various administrative authorities, etc., and their roles are discussed in this unit, and therefore this requires some knowledge of basic laws. That is why it is taught to be offered to all master's program students in the university. The second important element, or the second important portion of this unit, is on the Ethiopian public administration, which is also fundamental for every master's program student, that has to be understood and mastered, which is relevant to all kinds of programs. It is on the Ethiopian public administration, and in this module the various aspects of public administration and the practice in public administration is also dealt with in this portion as a significant part of the module. The other important thing is that to know on the learning outcomes. This means what is expected of this program to be achieved at the end of the module. In this module, students will be able, at the end of the module, will be able to explain the basic features of law and constitution, understand the different contemporary aspects of human rights in the Ethiopian context, recognize the historical development and concepts of federalism in the Ethiopian context. So when you look to all these elements or outcomes, you can easily see that they are fundamental and very important to every Ethiopian and to every master's program student in particular, that you are expected to understand, or as a result of the course you will be able to understand the contemporary human rights in Ethiopian context. You will be able to recognize the historical development of federalism in general and the Ethiopian federal system in particular, in which you live here as a citizen, and that is why we say that this is a course which is fundamental, which is important to be mastered by every master program student. Also in this program, in this module, as a learning outcomes, we have that a student has to identify, or is expected to identify, the existing governance structure of Ethiopia. These things are, in this way or another, related to your daily activities, to your daily life, in particular to your practice of the knowledge that you have in the different programs, and it will also be expected to be able to apply the basic principles of the public administration in the Ethiopian context. And this is relevant to every student, to every graduate of master's program, and these learning outcomes indicate that this module is important to have basic knowledge and basic fundamental understanding of the Ethiopian situation in general. It will also be expected that students will be able, at the end of this module, will be able to assess the governance problems of Ethiopia, apply the principles of the FDRE constitution, and apply the civil service laws of Ethiopia, which is also clearly relevant to every Ethiopian citizen and to you in particular. Is an introduction to law. The second unit is about Ethiopian constitution. The third unit consists of federalism. Fourth unit is on concept of governance. Fifth unit is on accountability, which are political, administrative, and judicial accountability. The sixth unit is on administrative agencies in general and the Ethiopian context in particular. And the last, or the seventh unit, is on introduction to public administration. When we look to the first unit, which is on introduction to law, it includes the basic concepts and ideas of law, which in this portion includes constitutional law and federalism. The second important point under this unit is the definition, the purpose, the sources, the classification, making of laws, and hierarchy of laws. In the second unit, we will start, the module starts with definition of a constitution, that it deals what constitution is in general, and also it deals with basic principles of constitution. It deals with characteristic features of constitution, basic principles of human rights. The 1995 FDRE constitution also shall be used as a point of reference in this unit. The third unit is on federalism. In this unit, survey of the distinctive features of federal systems in general and of Ethiopia in particular will be addressed. And the fourth unit is on the concept of governance. This is a little bit larger unit, and it includes the following. The fundamental concepts of governance in general will be addressed. Governance structure of Ethiopia in particular will also be discussed. Structure of public institutions in Ethiopia. Levels of public institutions, that is federal, regional, and local levels, shall be discussed. Organizing the functions of government, political superstructure of government will be discussed. Political executives, their powers and roles shall be dealt with. Formal and informal control measures in government will also be discussed. The fifth unit deals accountability, which includes political, administrative, and judicial accountabilities. In this unit, frameworks for accountability related to central, regional, and local levels, principles of collective and individual responsibility under the Constitution and in practice, administrative, financial, and judicial accountability under the Ethiopian law, laws relating to local governance, expenditure, transfers, and accountability procedures, treasury regulations, oversight powers of the Auditor General, Ombudsman, and Human Rights Commission, parliamentary committees and parliament, and comparative practices of other countries in relation to the above listed items will be dealt with. The sixth unit deals with administrative agencies. In this unit, powers and functions of administrative agencies, Ethiopian civil service laws, frameworks for accountability, Central, regional, and local level principles of collective and individual responsibility under the Constitution and in practice. Administrative, financial, and judicial accountability under the law. Laws relating to local governance expenditure and transfers and accounting procedures will be addressed. The 7th unit deals with Introduction to Public Administration. Under this unit, first you find the definition of public administration, then come elements of public administration in Ethiopia, reforming public administration in Ethiopia, serving citizens more effectively, and rent-seeking as a challenge for Ethiopian public administration shall be dealt with.